Welcome to this guided bedtime story for adults. In the next few minutes, you will be transported to a peaceful evening at an enchanted lantern market where gentle rain creates the perfect atmosphere for deep relaxation and restful sleep. This story is designed to help you release the tensions of your day and drift into a calm, restorative slumber. You don't need to follow every word closely. Simply allow the imagery and sounds to wash over you as you settle into comfort. If your mind begins to wander, that's perfectly natural. If you find yourself ready to sleep at any point during this journey, feel free to let go completely. There's no need to stay awake until the end. Before we begin our story, make yourself as comfortable as possible. Adjust your pillows, pull your blanket up to just the right position, and allow your body to sink into whatever surface supports you. You might want to close your eyes now, or you can keep them gently open until you feel ready to let them drift shut. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. Feel your shoulders drop slightly as you release that breath. Notice how your body naturally wants to relax when you give it permission to do so. Now imagine yourself stepping out into a warm evening. The air carries just a hint of moisture, suggesting that rain might be approaching. But for now, the world feels soft and welcoming. You're walking along a cobblestone path that leads toward a glow in the distance. This glow grows brighter and more colorful as you move forward, and you realize you're approaching something magical. The sounds of gentle conversation and the soft tinkling of wind chimes drifted toward you on the evening breeze. As you get closer, you can see that you're approaching a traditional night market. Paper lanterns of every color imaginable hang from wooden poles and stretched between vendor stalls. Red lanterns glow like warm embers, while yellow ones shine like captured sunlight. Blue lanterns cast a cool, peaceful light, and green ones seem to hold the essence of spring gardens. The lanterns sway gently in the evening air, creating dancing patterns of light and shadow across the market pathways. The first drops of rain begin to fall, so light they feel more like a fine mist touching your skin. Each droplet catches the lantern light for just a moment before disappearing, creating tiny sparkles in the air around you. The rain isn't cold or uncomfortable. Instead, it feels refreshing and cleansing, as if the sky is offering a gentle blessing to everyone in the market below. Step under. You the protective canopy of a vendor's stall where colorful fabric awnings stretch overhead. The rain begins to patter softly against this fabric covering, creating a rhythmic, soothing sound that seems designed specifically to calm your mind. Other visitors to the market have also sought shelter, but everyone moves slowly and peacefully, as if the rain has encouraged a more contemplative pace. The air fills with the most wonderful aromas. Steam rises from a nearby food stall where an elderly woman tends to a large pot of fragrant soup. The scent of ginger and star anise mingles with the fresh smell of rain on warm stone. Another vendor offers jasmine tea, and the delicate floral fragrance drifts toward you, mixing with the earthy smell of wet wood and the clean scent of rainfall. You notice how the rain transforms the market into something even more magical than before. The wet cobblestones reflect the lantern light, creating pools of color that seem to glow from within the ground itself. Every surface that catches the rain becomes a mirror, doubling the beauty of the scene. The wooden posts supporting the lanterns darken with moisture, their grain becoming more pronounced and beautiful. A small stream of rainwater begins to flow along a carved channel in the cobblestones, carrying fallen flower petals from nearby vendor displays. Rose petals, jasmine blossoms, and small yellow chrysanthemum blooms float like tiny boats in this miniature river, creating a procession of natural beauty that moves slowly past your feet. The sound of the rain intensifies slightly, but rather than becoming overwhelming, it creates layers of gentle rhythm. You can hear the soft patter on fabric, the musical dripping from the edges of awnings, and the quiet splash as raindrops land in small puddles. Occasionally, a larger drop falls from the edge of a lantern, creating a slightly different note in this natural symphony. Other people in the market seem to be enjoying the rain as much as you are. A young couple stands nearby, sharing a paper umbrella while they examine handcrafted jewelry at a small stall. Their voices are soft and content as they point out different pieces to each other. An elderly man sits on a small wooden stool, sipping tea from a ceramic cup while watching the rain fall. His expression is peaceful and meditative, as if he's found exactly where he wants to be in this moment. The vendor whose stall provides your shelter smiles warmly at you and gestures toward her display of hand-woven scarves. Each one is a different color, and they flutter gently in the breeze created by the rain. She doesn't pressure you to buy anything. Instead, she seems happy simply to share this peaceful moment with you under her protective canopy. You run your fingers along one of the scarves, feeling its soft texture. The fabric is smooth and comforting, like touching a cloud. The vendor nods approvingly at your choice and says something in a language you don't understand, but her tone conveys warmth and friendliness. She gestures toward the rain and smiles, as if to say that weather like this makes everything more beautiful. The rain continues to fall steadily now, creating a consistent, soothing background sound that seems to slow down time itself. You notice that your breathing has naturally synchronized with the rhythm of the raindrops. Each breath in coincides with a gentle increase in the rain's intensity, and each breath out matches a softer moment in its pattern. Looking around the market, you see that the rain has brought out different colors in everything. The red lanterns seem to glow more deeply, their light appearing warmer and more inviting. The wooden stalls have taken on rich, dark tones that make them look ancient and full of stories. Even the people in the market seem more colorful, their clothing made more vibrant by the moisture in the air. A small cat appears from underneath one of the stalls, shaking droplets from its fur. Rather than running away from the rain, it settles down on a dry wooden crate and begins to groom itself calmly. Its presence adds to the sense that this is a safe, peaceful place where all creatures can find comfort and shelter. The lanterns above you sway more noticeably now in the breeze that accompanies the rain. Their movement creates constantly shifting patterns of light and shadow, like a gentle kaleidoscope playing across the market scene. Sometimes, the light from multiple lanterns combines to create new colors where their beams overlap. Purple appear where red and blue lights meet, orange where red and yellow combine, and soft pink where red and white lanterns cast their glow together. You notice a small pavilion in the center of the market where several people have gathered to wait out the rain. Some are sitting on wooden benches, others are standing and chatting quietly. Everyone seems relaxed and unhurried, as if the rain has given them permission to slow down and enjoy the present moment. Their voices blend with the sound of the rainfall moon, creating a gentler mood of human contentment. The rain brings out new scents as well. You can smell the earthiness of wet stone, the freshness of rain-washed air, and something that might be night-blooming jasmine from a nearby garden. These natural aromas mix with the market sense of incense, cooking food, and the slight smokiness from paper lanterns to create an olfactory experience that's both exotic and comforting. Your feet are still dry on the wooden platform at the vendor stall, but you can see small rivers of rainwater flowing between the cobblestones throughout the market. These tiny waterways catch and reflect the lantern light, creating streams of liquid gold, silver, and color that flow like veins of light through the market floor. The rain seems to be settling into a steady, gentle rhythm now, neither increasing nor decreasing, but maintaining a consistent, peaceful presence. This constancy is deeply soothing, like a natural white noise that masks any harsh sounds from the world beyond the market. Under this blanket of gentle rainfall, the market feels like a separate world, protected and serene. A gentle breeze carries the rain at an angle now, and you feel a few cool droplets touch your cheek. They feel refreshing rather than bothersome, like nature's way of reminding you that you're part of this beautiful scene. You wipe the moisture away slowly, savoring the coolness against your warm skin. The vendor beside you opens a large, ornate umbrella and steps out briefly to adjust one of her fabric displays. When she returns, she shakes the raindrops from the umbrella's surface, and you watch them fall like tiny crystals before disappearing into the wooden planks beneath your feet. She catches your eye and nods toward the umbrella with a questioning look, offering to share its protection if you'd like to explore more of the market. You accept her kind gesture with a grateful smile, and together you step out from under the stall's awning. The umbrella creates a small, private canopy above you both as you begin to walk slowly through the rain-touched market. The sound of raindrops hitting the umbrella's fabric creates an intimate drumming just above your head, adding another layer to the symphony of gentle sounds surrounding you. Moving through the market, under this shared shelter, you notice how the rain has transformed the entire atmosphere. Steam rises from warm food stalls, where hot soup and tea provide comfort to visitors. The steam mingles with the falling rain, creating soft clouds of vapor that drift between the lanterns like ethereal decorations. Everything feels softer now, edges blurred by moisture and mist. You pass a stall where an artisan is carefully painting designs on paper lanterns. Despite the rain, he continues his work under a protective covering, his brush moving with practiced precision across the delicate paper surface. He's creating intricate patterns of birds and flowers, each stroke deliberate and meditative. The concentration on his face reflects the same peaceful focus that seems to have settled over everyone in the market since the rain began. At another stall, a woman is arranging fresh flowers that glisten with raindrops. Peonies, chrysanthemums, and lotus blossoms create a rainbow of natural beauty, their petals made more vibrant by the moisture. She works slowly and deliberately, as if the rain has encouraged her to take extra care with each arrangement. The flowers seem to drink in the gentle precipitation, their colors deepening with each passing moment. Your companion with the umbrella pauses at a small tea vendor, and you both step under his extended awning. The vendor, an elderly man with kind eyes, offers small both ceramic cups filled with warm, fragrant tea. The liquid steams in the cool, rain-freshened air, and when you bring the cup to your lips, the warmth spreads through your body like a gentle embrace. The tea tastes of jasmine and something slightly sweet, perhaps honey or rock sugar. As you sip your tea, you listen to the rain's conversation with different surfaces throughout the market. It patters softly against canvas awnings, rings gently as it hits metal wind chimes, and splashes quietly into ceramic pots placed strategically to catch the runoff. Each surface creates its own unique note, and together they form a complex but harmonious composition that seems to slow your heartbeat and deepen your breathing. The lanterns above continue their gentle dance in the rain-sent breeze. Some have small gutters or lips designed to direct rainwater away from the paper, and you watch as tiny waterfalls cascade from these edges, creating delicate curtains of water that catch and scatter the colored light. The effect is mesmerizing, like watching liquid rainbows fall from the sky. Group A, small of children, runs the market, their laughter mixing through not with the sound of rain. They're trying to escape the weather, but instead seem to be celebrating it, jumping over small puddles and catching raindrops on their tongues. Their joy is infectious, and you find yourself smiling as you watch their carefree play. Even in the rain, or perhaps because of it, the market remains a place of wonder and delight. The woman with the umbrella gestures toward a narrow pathway between two rows of stalls, suggesting you explore this quieter section of the market. As you walk together down this more secluded area, the sounds of rain become even more prominent, with fewer voices to compete with its gentle rhythm. Here, the lanterns hang closer together, creating a tunnel of warm, colored light that feels incredibly cozy and protective. You notice that some vendors have strung additional fabric between their stalls, creating covered walkways that allow people to move about without getting too wet. These impromptu canopies drip steadily at their edges, but underneath them, the market continues its peaceful evening activity. People browse slowly, their voices hushed, as if the rain has encouraged a more reverent appreciation for this special place. At one stall, you see beautiful silk scarves and clothing that seem to shimmer in the lantern light. The fabric appears to have been designed specifically to complement the warm glow of paper lanterns, with colors that seem to come alive in this lighting. The vendor, a middle-aged woman with gentle hands, holds up different pieces for you to admire, her movements slow and graceful, like a dancer performing for an audience of raindrops. The rain continues its steady percussion on all the various surfaces above you: canvas, silk, paper, wood, and metal. Each contribute their own voice to this natural orchestra. You realize that you've stopped about timed thinking altogether. The rain has created a bubble of present moment awareness where nothing exists except this beautiful scene, these kind people, and the soothing sounds and sensations surrounding you. Your breathing has become even deeper and slower, naturally synchronizing with the rhythm of the rainfall. Each inhale brings in the fresh, clean scent of rain mixed with incense and cooking spices. Each exhale releases any tension from remaining in your body, leaving you feeling more relaxed with every breath. The vendor who shared her umbrella with you finds a comfortable spot to sit on a wooden bench under a particularly well-covered area. She gestures for you to join her, and you settle down beside her, still protected from the rain, but close enough to feel its cooling effect on the air around you. From this seated position, you have a perfect view of the market's central area, where lanterns of every size and color continue their gentle, swaying dance. You watch as other market visitors find their own comfortable spots to wait out the rain. Some browse slowly through covered stalls, others sit and sip warm beverages, and a few simply stand and watch the rain fall, their faces peaceful and content. Everyone seems to have embraced the slower pace that the weather has brought to the evening. The rain shows no signs of stopping, but nobody appears concerned or impatient. Instead, there's a collective sense that this is exactly as things should be. The rain has transformed the market into something even more magical than it was before, creating an atmosphere of shared tranquility and wonder that seems to touch everyone present. From your bench, you can see how the rainwater has created small streams between the cobblestones, and these miniature rivers reflect the lantern light like liquid mirrors flowing through the market floor. Occasionally, a flower petal or small leaf floats by in one of these streams, adding natural beauty to the scene. The lanterns continue to cast their warm glow over everything, their light made even more beautiful by the way it interacts with the falling rain and rising steam. Colors blend and separate, merge and dance, creating an ever-changing display that holds your attention without demanding any effort or analysis from you. You close your eyes for a moment and simply listen to the rain's gentle song. It seems to be telling a story without words, a tale of peace and renewal, of nature's ability to transform any space into something sacred and restorative. When you open your eyes again, the scene before you appears even more beautiful, as if your brief moment of focused listening has heightened your appreciation for all the visual wonders surrounding you. The evening continues to unfold slowly and peacefully, with the rain maintaining its gentle, steady presence over the market. Time seems to have no meaning here, where the only clock is the rhythm of raindrops, and the only agenda is to remain present in this perfect moment of tranquility and beauty. The woman beside you closes her eyes and takes a deep breath, seeming to draw in not just the rain-scented air, but the entire atmosphere of this enchanted evening. Her peaceful expression encourages you to do the same, and as you breathe deeply, you feel your body settling even further into relaxation. The wooden bench beneath you feels solid and supportive, like the earth itself is offering you a place of rest. A small droplet of water falls from the edge of the awning above and lands on your hand. Rather than wiping it away immediately, you let it sit there for a moment, feeling its coolness against your warm skin. The droplet catches a tiny fragment of lantern light, becoming a miniature prism that holds all the colors of the market within its small, perfect sphere. The rain has brought with it a subtle shift in temperature, making the air just cool enough to feel refreshing without being uncomfortable. This gentle coolness seems to encourage your muscles to release their tension naturally, as if the weather itself is providing a form of natural relaxation therapy. Your shoulders drop a little lower, your jaw unclenches without conscious effort, and your hands rest more heavily in your lap, From somewhere deeper in the market comes the soft sound of someone playing a wooden flute. The melody is simple and wandering, like musical raindrops falling in no particular pattern, but creating beauty through their randomness. The notes blend perfectly with the sound of actual rainfall, creating a harmony between human artistry and natural rhythm that seems to slow your heartbeat even further. You notice that the rain has brought out different textures in everything around you. The wooden surfaces have developed a slight sheen that makes their grain more visible and beautiful. The fabric awnings have darkened in some places where water has soaked through, creating abstract patterns that look like watercolor paintings. Even the cobblestones beneath your feet have taken on new character, their surfaces now gleaming with reflected light. A gentle breeze moves through the market, carrying the rain at a slight angle and bringing with it the scent of flowers from some unseen garden. This floral fragrance mingles with the existing aromas of the market, adding layers of sweetness that seem to correspond perfectly with the visual beauty surrounding you. Your senses are being cared for in every possible way. The vendors' stalls around you have adapted to the rain with practiced ease. Waterproof covers appear over delicate merchandise, while items that can benefit from the moisture are left exposed. You watch as a florist adjusts her display so that some of her blooms can catch the gentle rainfall, their petals opening slightly as they receive this natural nourishment. Your companion on the bench shifts slightly, drawing her shawl closer around her shoulders, but her movement is slow and peaceful rather than hurried or uncomfortable. She seems as content as you are to remain in this protected spot, watching the rain transform the market into something even more magical with each passing minute. Her presence beside you adds to the sense of shared tranquility that has settled over the entire scene. The lanterns above continue their gentle sway, and you find yourself becoming mesmerized by their movement. The way they turn slowly in the breeze creates constantly changing patterns of light and shadow that play across the wet surfaces below. Sometimes, a lantern will catch a gust of wind and spin more quickly for a moment, creating spirals of colored light that seem to dance just for your enjoyment. You close your eyes again and focus entirely on the sounds you. The rain has surrounding so many voices. There's the soft patter on canvas, the musical tinking on metal wind chimes, the gentle splash and puddles, and the quiet dripping from various edges and corners. Underneath all of these individual sounds is a deeper rhythm, like the breathing of the market itself, that seems to match your own increasingly slow and deep breathing pattern. When you open your eyes, you notice that steam is rising from a nearby food cart where someone is preparing hot soup. The steam mingles with the falling rain, creating small clouds that drift between the lanterns like gentle spirits moving through the market. These ethereal wisps catch and scatter the colored light, adding another layer of beauty to the already magnificent scene. A small bird lands on the edge of the awning above you, shaking raindrops from its feathers before settling down to wait out the weather. The bird seems completely untroubled by the rain, appearing instead to enjoy the fresh, clean air it has brought. Its presence adds to the sense that this market is the sanctuary where all living things can find peace and shelter. The rain continues its steady rhythm, neither increasing nor decreasing, but maintaining that perfect intensity that creates maximum relaxation without any discomfort. This consistency is deeply soothing to your nervous system, providing the kind of predictable, gentle stimulation that naturally encourages your mind to slow down and your body to release all remaining tension. Your hands have become completely relaxed in your lap, your fingers slightly curled in the natural position they take when you're deeply at rest. Your feet feel heavy and settled on the ground, as if they've grown roots that connect you to the peaceful energy of this place. Even your face has relaxed, your expression becoming soft and serene, like those of the other people around you. The woman beside you opens a small cloth bag and pulls out what appears to be a pea-seed candy of ham wrapped in delicate paper. She offers half to you with a gentle smile, and when you taste it, you discover it's flavored with rose and honey. The sweetness dissolves slowly on your tongue, adding yet another pleasant sensation to this symphony of comfort that surrounds you. As you savor the candy, you notice that the rain has created small rivers of colored light on the wet cobblestones. Where red lantern light hits the water, streams of liquid ruby flow between the stones. Blue lanterns create sapphire rivers, yellow ones produce streams of liquid gold, and where multiple colors meet, new hues are born in the flowing water. The flute music continues from somewhere in the market, its melody now joined by the soft sound of someone humming along. The human voice blends perfectly with both the instrumental music and the natural percussion of the rainfall, creating a three-part harmony that seems designed specifically to induce the deepest possible relaxation. You realize that your thoughts have become like the rain itself, gentle and flowing rather than sharp and demanding. Ideas drift through your mind like the steam rising from the food stalls, present for a moment and then dissolving peacefully into the overall atmosphere of tranquility. This mental stillness feels incredibly restorative, as if your mind is finally getting the rest it needs. A group of elderly people has gathered under a large pavilion nearby, and you can hear their quiet conversation mixing with the sound of rain on the pavilion's roof. Their voices are soft and unhurried, like people who have learned that the best conversations happen when there's no pressure to fill every moment with words. Their peaceful sense that presence adds to the overall this market exists in a slower, more mindful dimension of time. The lanterns seem to be glowing more warmly now, though you're not sure if their light has actually changed or if the rain has simply made you more aware of their beauty. Each one appears to be a small sun, casting its own circle of golden warmth into the cool, rain-freshened air. Together, they create a constellation of earthbound stars that makes the entire market feel like a place of magic and wonder. Your breathing has synchronized completely with the rhythm of the rainfall now, each inhale drawing in the peaceful energy of this place, and each exhale releasing any remaining stress or tension from your body. The process has become so natural and automatic that you're barely aware of it, like the way your heart beats without conscious effort. A cat appears from under one of the stalls and begins to groom itself calmly in a dry spot nearby. Its presence adds to the sense that this is a safe, nurturing environment where all creatures can find comfort. The cat seems completely untroubled by the rain or the gentle activity of the market, suggesting that this kind of peaceful coexistence is the natural state of being in this special place. The rain brings out new scents as the evening progresses. You can smell wet wood becoming more aromatic, flowers releasing their fragrances more freely in the moisture, and something that might be night-blooming jasmine beginning to open somewhere in the distance. These natural perfumes layer themselves with the market scents of incense, tea, and cooking spices to create an olfactory experience that's both complex and soothing. Your companion on the bench closes her eyes and tilts her head slightly, as if listening to something beyond the obvious sounds of rain and market activity. Her expression becomes even more peaceful, and you find yourself following her example, tuning in to the subtle layers of sound that make up this evening's natural symphony. There are depths within depths, rhythms within rhythms, all combining to create the perfect acoustic environment for deep relaxation. The rain continues to fall steadily, transforming everything it touches. The wooden posts supporting the awnings have darkened to rich browns that make them look even more ancient and full of character. The fabric coverings have developed subtle patterns where water has soaked through in some places more than others, creating abstract art that changes moment by moment. You notice that your sense of time has completely shifted. Minutes might have passed, or hours, but it doesn't matter because each moment feels complete and perfect in itself. The rain has created a bubble outside of ordinary time, where the only thing that matters is this immediate experience of beauty, comfort, and peace. The lanterns continue their gentle dance overhead, their movement creating constantly shifting kaleidoscopes of colored light on every surface. The wet cobblestones below reflect these patterns, doubling the beauty and making it seem as if you're surrounded by light from above and below simultaneously. A vendor walks slowly through the rain, carrying a large umbrella and checking on the various stalls in his section of the market. His movements are unhurried and careful, like someone who has learned to move in harmony with the weather rather than fighting against it. He pauses to adjust a cover here, redirect a stream of water there, all with the practiced ease of someone who has spent many rainy evenings caring for this special place. The sound of the rain on different surfaces continues to create its complex musical composition. Canvas drums softly, metal chimes musically, wood accepts the water with quiet thuds, and ceramic surfaces ring with tiny bell-like notes. Your ears have become so attuned to these subtle variations that you can almost see the different sounds as distinct colors in your mind. Your body has reached a state of such complete relaxation that you feel like you might melt into the bench beneath you. Every muscle has released its tension. Every joint has found its most comfortable position, and your breathing has become so slow and deep that each breath seems to last for minutes rather than seconds. The woman beside you opens her eyes and looks out at the rain with an expression of pure contentment. She doesn't need to speak for you to understand that she's experiencing the same profound peace that has settled over you. Her presence continues to add to your sense of shared tranquility, as if the two of you are participating together in this evening's meditation on beauty and stillness. The rain shows no signs of stopping, but this no longer seems like something to wait out. Instead, it has become the defining characteristic of this perfect evening, the element that has transformed an already beautiful market into something truly transcendent. You find yourself hoping it will continue for hours, maintaining this cocoon of peace and beauty that has enveloped everyone present. Steam continues to rise from various food stalls throughout the market, creating ghostly columns that twist and spiral upward before dissolving into the rain-filled air. These ephemeral sculptures add movement and mystery to the scene, like visible breath from the market itself, proof that this place is alive and breathing in rhythm with the weather. The flute music fades gradually, but its absence is filled immediately by other gentle sounds that seem to emerge from the rain-soaked evening itself. Wind chimes sing in the breeze, water drips in various rhythms from different surfaces, and somewhere in the distance, you can hear the soft splash of rain falling into what might be a fountain or pond. Your mind has become like the surface of a calm pond, occasionally disturbed by gentle thoughts that ripple across its surface before settling back into stillness. This mental quietude feels incredibly healing, as if your consciousness is finally getting the rest and renewal it needs to function at its best. The lanterns above seem to pulse gently with their warm light, though you realize this might be an effect of your increasingly relaxed state rather than any change in their actual brightness. Each one appears to be breathing with its own rhythm, inhaling darkness and exhaling colored light in patterns that seem designed to induce the deepest possible sense of peace and well-being. A small child runs past your bench, her footsteps splashing lightly through the shallow puddles that have formed between the cobblestones. She pauses under a nearby stall to shake the raindrops from her hair, then looks back at you with a bright smile before disappearing again into the gentle maze of market pathways. Her carefree joy reminds you that rain can be a source of delight rather than inconvenience, a gift that transforms ordinary moments into memories of wonder. The vendor across from you begins to light small candles inside glass lanterns, adding their steady glow to the colorful paper lanterns swaying overhead. These flame-lit lanterns create a different quality of light, steadier and warmer, like tiny hearths scattered throughout the market. The candlelight flickers occasionally when raindrops hit the glass, creating brief shadows that dance across the wet surfaces below. Your companion shifts beside you, pulling a light shawl from her bag and draping it around her shoulders. The fabric looks hand-woven, with intricate patterns that catch the lantern light beautifully. She offers to share it with you, and as she adjusts the soft wool around both of your shoulders, you feel an additional layer of warmth and comfort settle over you. The shared covering creates an intimate space within the larger cocoon of the covered market area. The rain begins to drum slightly harder against the awning above you, but the increased intensity only makes your sheltered position feel more cozy and protected. You can hear the water running off the edges of the covering in steady streams, creating curtains of liquid that separate your dry sanctuary from the wet world beyond. The sound is rhythmic and hypnotic, like a natural metronome keeping time for the evening's peaceful progression. A tea vendor pushes a small cart slowly through the covered areas of the market, offering warm drinks to anyone seeking comfort from the rain. When he reaches your section, he stops and prepares 2 cups of what appears to be ginger tea, the steam rising from the liquid in spirals that mirror the mist created by rain hitting warm surfaces throughout the market. The first sip sends warmth spreading through your chest and down into your arms, creating a sensation of internal sunshine that complements the external coolness of the evening air. The lanterns continue their eternal dance, but you notice now that their movement has created worn spots on the wooden beams from which they hang. These smooth patches, speakings like of countless, even this one, of years of gentle swaying in rain and breeze, of the patient wearing away that comes from repeated motion peaceful. The sight of these worn places adds to your sense that you're participating in something timeless and enduring. Water drips steadily from the corner of one lantern nearby, and you watch as each drop catches the colored light for just an instant before falling to join the small streams flowing between the cobblestones below. The rhythm of these drops becomes another layer in the complex symphony of rainfall, each one arriving with perfect timing to contribute to the overall harmony of sound. A group of musicians has gathered under a large pavilion in the center of the market, and they begin to play soft, traditional melodies that blend seamlessly with the natural percussion of the rain. Their instruments include what sounds like a wooden flute, a small drum, and something with strings that you can't quite identify. The music doesn't compete with the rainfall, but instead weaves itself into the natural soundscape, creating a perfect fusion of human artistry and natural rhythm. Your breathing has become so deep and slow that you're barely aware of it anymore. Each inhale seems to last forever, drawing in not just air, but the entire peaceful atmosphere of this rain-blessed evening. Each exhale releases something you didn't even realize you were holding, some tension or worry that dissolves into the mist and disappears completely. The process feels less like breathing and more like a gentle exchange of energy with the tranquil environment surrounding you. The woman beside you opens a small journal and begins to write slowly, her pen moving across the page with the same unhurried grace that characterizes everything else in this rain-touched market. She doesn't seem to be documenting events so much as capturing feelings, letting her hand move in response to the peaceful energy that surrounds you both. Occasionally, she pauses to listen to a particular combination of rain sounds or to watch a lantern turn in the breeze, then continues writing as if these moments of observation are feeding directly into her words. Steam rises from a noodle stall where the vendor continues to serve customers despite the rain. The warm vapor mingles with the falling droplets, creating small clouds that drift between the market stalls like benevolent spirits. These ephemeral formations catch fragments of lantern light and seem to glow from within before dissolving back into the rain-saturated air. The sight is mesmerizing, like watching thoughts take shape and then fade away in the peaceful mind. A small dog trots past your bench, seemingly unbothered by the rain. Its fur is damp but not soaked, and it moves with the confidence of an animal that considers this market its home. The dog pauses to investigate something interesting near a flower stall, then continues on its way with the unhurried pace that everyone and everything seems to have adopted since the rain began. Even the animals understand that this is a time for moving slowly and savoring each moment. The rain has created small waterfalls from the edges of various awnings and covers throughout the market. Some fall in steady streams, others drip in irregular patterns, and a few create delicate sprays when they hit protruding edges or decorative elements. Together, these water features have turned the market into a kind of natural fountain with dozens of small cascades adding their voices to the evening's liquid symphony. Your hands have found a position of complete rest in your lap, fingers slightly curved and completely relaxed. The warmth from the shared shawl and the tea has spread throughout your body, creating a sensation of being gently heated from within while the cool, rain-freshened air touches your face. This contrast between internal warmth and external coolness is perfectly balanced, like your body has found its ideal temperature for deep relaxation. A vendor walks slowly between the stalls, carrying a large paper umbrella decorated with painted birds and flowers. The umbrella itself becomes a moving work of art as it progresses through the market, its colorful surface catching and reflecting the lantern light while protecting its bearer from the rain. The painted birds seem almost alive as they move through the shifting patterns of light and shadow created by the swaying lanterns overhead. The cobblestones beneath your feet have developed a network of tiny rivers and streams where rainwater flows toward drainage areas. These miniature waterways reflect the colored lantern light, creating flowing ribbons of red, blue, yellow, and green that move constantly across the market floor. Watching these liquid streams of color is hypnotic, like observing aurora borealis flowing along the ground instead of across the sky. Your companion closes her journal and leans back against the bench, her expression one of complete contentment. She doesn't need to share what she was writing for you to understand that she was capturing something precious about this moment. Her peaceful presence beside you continues to enhance your own sense of tranquility, as if the two of you are sharing not just the shawl, but also a deeper experience of harmony with this rain-blessed evening. The musicians in the central pavilion begin a new piece, this one featuring a melody that seems to mirror the rhythm of the rainfall itself. The notes rise and fall like the intensity of the precipitation, creating musical phrases that feel like sonic representations of the weather. Listening to this composition while experiencing the actual rain creates a sensation of being inside the music itself, surrounded by harmony both heard and felt. A cat emerges from underneath a nearby stall and settles down to groom itself in a dry spot created by overlapping awnings. Its methodical cleaning ritual seems to match the patient, unhurried pace that has settled over everything in the market since the rain began. The cat's presence adds to the sense that this is a place where all living things can find comfort and sanctuary regardless of the weather. The rain continues its steady conversation with every surface in the market. Canvas responds with soft drumming, metal chimes with musical tones, ceramic surfaces with delicate ringing sounds, and wood with deep, muffled thuds. Your ears have become so attuned to these subtle variations that you can identify different materials just by listening to how the rain sounds when it strikes them. Steam continues to rise from various hot food stalls throughout the market, creating vertical columns of vapor that twist and spiral upward before being absorbed into the rain-filled air above. These ghostly formations add movement and mystery to the scene, like visible manifestations of the market's warm, welcoming spirit rising to meet the cool blessing of the rain. The lanterns overhead seem to glow more intensely now, though whether this is due to some change in their actual brightness or simply your increasing sensitivity to their beauty, you cannot say. Each colored light appears to pulse gently with its own rhythm, creating a slow-motion light show that plays across every wet surface in the market. The effect is simultaneously energizing and deeply relaxing, like being surrounded by gentle, living stars. Your sense of time has become completely fluid, minutes stretching into what feels like hours of perfect contentment. The rain has created a temporal bubble where clock time loses all meaning, and the only rhythm that matters is the natural percussion of water meeting various surfaces throughout the market. This freedom from time consciousness feels incredibly liberating, as if you've been released from some invisible pressure you didn't even realize you were carrying. A small group of children has discovered a spot where rainwater collects in a decorative basin, and they take turns floating small paper boats in the temporary pond. Their quiet laughter mingles with the sound of rainfall, adding another layer of joy to the evening's peaceful symphony. Their play is gentle and contemplative rather than boisterous, as if they too have been touched by the rain's calming influence. The vendor who shared her umbrella with you earlier returns to check on her stall, moving slowly and carefully through the rain. She adjusts a few items that might be getting too wet, but her movements are relaxed and unhurried. She seems to view the rain as a collaborator rather than an obstacle, working with the weather to create the best possible environment for both her merchandise and her customers. Your breathing has synchronized so completely with the rhythm of the rainfall that you feel like you're participating in the same natural process that's creating all this beauty around you. Each breath seems to connect you more deeply to the peaceful energy of the market, as if you're gradually becoming part of the scene rather than simply observing it. This sense of belonging and integration feels profoundly healing. The woman beside you closes her eyes and tilts her head back slightly, letting a few raindrops that have found their way past the awning touch her face. Her expression is one of pure bliss, as if she's receiving a blessing directly from the sky. Her peaceful surrender to the rain's gentle touch encourages you to relax even more deeply into this moment of perfect tranquility. A vendor across the way begins to light incense sticks, and their fragrant smoke mingles with the rain-scented air to create an olfactory experience that's both exotic and comforting. The incense seems to have been chosen specifically to complement the evening's natural aromatherapy, adding notes of sandalwood and jasmine that enhance rather than compete with the fresh, clean smell of rainfall. The rain shows no signs of diminishing, maintaining its steady, gentle presence over the market like a protective blanket. This consistency has become deeply comforting, providing the kind of reliable, soothing stimulation that allows your nervous system to settle into its deepest state of rest and recovery. Your body feels completely supported and cared for, as if the rain itself is providing a form of natural healing. Small puddles have formed in various low spots throughout the market, each one acting as a mirror that doubles the beauty of the lanterns swaying overhead. These temporary pools create islands of reflected light scattered across the cobblestone pathways, making it seem as if you're walking through a constellation that extends both above and below you simultaneously. The musicians continue their gentle performance, their melodies now joined by the natural percussion section of raindrops hitting different surfaces throughout the market. The collaboration between human artistry and natural rhythm creates music that feels both composed and spontaneous, structured and free, like the perfect soundtrack for this evening's meditation on beauty and peace. Your mind has reached a state of such profound stillness that thoughts seem to arise and dissolve, like the steam rising from the food stalls around you. Ideas form briefly in your consciousness before dissipating peacefully back into the overall atmosphere of tranquility. This mental quietude feels incredibly restorative, as if your brain is finally getting the deep rest it needs to function at its optimal level. A gentle breeze moves through the market, carrying the rain at a slight angle and bringing with it new combinations of scents from different stalls and gardens. Rose petals mixed with cooking spices, incense blends with the fresh smell of wet stone, and somewhere in this aromatic symphony, you detect the subtle fragrance of night-blooming flowers beginning to open in response to the moisture. The lanterns respond to the breeze by spinning slightly faster for a moment, creating brief spirals of colored light that dance across every wet surface in the market. These ephemeral light shows appear and disappear like visual music, adding another layer of beauty to an already magnificent scene. Watching these spontaneous displays of color and movement feels like witnessing magic happening in real time. Your companion opens her eyes and looks around the market with an expression of wonder, as if seeing it for the first time, despite having been sitting here for what might have been hours. Her sense of fresh amazement is contagious, and you find yourself noticing details that had somehow escaped your attention before, even though you've been observing this scene with what felt like complete attention. The rain has transformed every surface in the market into something more beautiful than it was before. Wooden posts gleam with moisture that highlights their natural grain. Fabric awnings have developed subtle patterns where water has penetrated in some places more than others, and metal fixtures shine like polished jewels in the colored lantern light. Everything has been enhanced by the rain's gentle touch. A small fountain that you hadn't noticed before begins to gurgle softly as rainwater fills its basin. The sound adds another voice to the evening's liquid chorus, this one deeper and more resonant than the lighter notes created by rain hitting various surfaces. The fountain's song seems to anchor all the other water sounds, providing a bass note that gives depth and richness to the overall acoustic composition. Steam continues to rise from warm surfaces throughout the market, creating ghostly columns and spirals that twist upward into the rain-filled air. These vaporous sculptures appear and disappear like thoughts in a peaceful mind, present for a moment, and then dissolved back into the atmosphere from which they came. Watching them feels like observing the visible breath of the market itself. The steady rhythm of rainfall has become like a natural metronome, keeping time for the evening's gentle activities. Vendors move in sync with this rhythm. Customers browse at its pace, and even conversations seem to follow its measured cadence. The rain has unified everything in the market under its gentle, persistent influence, creating a harmony that extends beyond just sound into movement and behavior. Your body has achieved such complete relaxation that you feel like you might dissolve into the bench beneath you, becoming part of the market's permanent fixtures rather than a temporary visitor. Every muscle has found its most comfortable position. Every joint has settled into perfect alignment breathing has become so slow and deep that each cycle seems to last for minutes rather than seconds. The woman beside you stands slowly and walks to the edge of the covered area, extending her hand to catch a few raindrops in her palm. When she returns, she shows you the small pool of water she's collected, and in the lantern light, the droplets look like liquid diamonds scattered across her skin. She smiles and lets the water fall slowly back to join the streams flowing between the cobblestones below. A vendor begins to prepare for closing his stall, but his movements are unhurried and peaceful rather than hasty or businesslike. He covers his merchandise carefully, ensuring everything is protected from the rain while still maintaining the beauty of his display. His actions seem motivated by care and respect for his goods rather than mere practicality, as if he understands that everything in this market deserves to be treated with reverence. The rain continues to create its complex symphony on the various surfaces throughout the market, each material contributing its own voice to the overall composition. Your ears have become so sensitive to these subtle variations that you can distinguish between the sound of rain hitting silk versus cotton, aged wood versus new metal, ceramic versus glass. This heightened acoustic awareness adds richness and depth to your experience of the evening. Your sense of separation between yourself and the surrounding environment has almost completely dissolved. You feel integrated into the peaceful rhythm of the market, connected to the gentle energy that flows through this rain-blessed space. This sensation of unity and belonging creates a profound sense of security and well-being that seems to emanate from the very core of your being. The lanterns overhead continue their eternal dance, their movement creating constantly shifting kaleidoscopes of colored light that play across every wet surface in the market. The patterns they create seem to correspond with your increasingly relaxed state, as if the lights themselves are responding to your deepening peace by becoming more beautiful and hypnotic with each passing moment. The music from the central pavilion begins to fade gradually, but rather than creating silence, its absence makes room for subtler sounds that emerge from the rain-soaked evening. You can now hear the gentle tinkling of wind chimes scattered throughout the market, each one tuned to a different note, creating random melodies as the breeze moves through them. These accidental compositions blend perfectly with the ongoing percussion of raindrops, forming music that seems to compose itself moment by moment. A new vendor appears, wheeling a small cart filled with handmade paper umbrellas. Each umbrella is a work of art, painted with delicate scenes of mountains, birds, and flowering branches. The vendor moves slowly through the covered areas, not calling out his wares, but simply allowing their beauty to speak for themselves. The umbrellas catch fragments of lantern light as he passes, their painted surfaces glowing briefly before moving on into the gentle shadows. Your breathing has become so synchronized with the rain that you're no longer sure where your own rhythm ends and the natural percussion begins. Each inhalation seems to draw in not just air, but the entire peaceful essence of this enchanted evening. Each exhalation releases something deeper than mere breath, some fundamental tension that you hadn't even realized was there until it began to dissolve into the misty air around you. The woman beside you reaches into her bag and withdraws a small, intricately carved wooden box. When she opens it, the delicate scent of dried flowers escapes, mixing with the rain-freshened air to create an even more complex, aromatic experience. Inside the box are what appear to be small pieces of crystallized ginger, each one wrapped in translucent rice paper. She offers you one, and when you place it on your tongue, the gentle heat spreads slowly through your mouth, creating warmth that radiates outward from your center. Steam continues to rise from various points throughout the market, but now you notice that these columns of vapor seem to be creating their own weather patterns in miniature. Small clouds form where the steam meets the cooler rain, and occasionally these tiny formations produce their own microscopic precipitation, creating rain within rain, weather within weather. The sight is mesmerizing, like watching the birth and death of tiny worlds suspended in the air above the market stalls. A cat picks its way carefully between the puddles, its paws finding dry spots with the precision of a dancer. When it reaches a particularly wide stream of rain studies water, it pauses in the flowing liquid as if contemplating some feline philosophy. Eventually, it leaps gracefully across, landing silently on the other side before continuing its unhurried journey through the market's maze of stalls and awnings. The lanterns above seem to have developed their own subtle communication system, their gentle swaying creating patterns that ripple through the entire network of hanging lights. When one lantern begins to turn in the breeze, its movement seems to influence its neighbors, creating waves of colored light that flow across the market like aurora dancing through a northern sky. Your eyes follow these patterns naturally, finding them deeply hypnotic and soothing. Your hands have settled into a position of such complete rest that they feel like they've become part of the bench itself. The warmth from the shared shawl has spread throughout your entire body, creating a cocoon of comfort that makes you feel simultaneously protected and connected to everything around you. This perfect balance of security and openness allows your nervous system to settle into its deepest possible state of restoration. A small group of elderly men has gathered under a large pavilion nearby, playing what appears to be a board game by the light of several paper lanterns. Their moves are contemplative and unhurried, with long pauses between plays that seem designed more for savoring the moment than for strategic thinking. Occasionally, one of them will comment softly on the rain, and the others will nod in agreement, as if acknowledging a mutual friend who has joined their evening gathering. The rain has created its own irrigation system throughout the market, with small channels between the cobblestones carrying water to plants and flowers scattered throughout the space. You watch as thirsty blooms lift their faces to receive both the direct precipitation and the runoff that flows past their containers. The flowers seem to glow more brightly in response to this nourishment, their colors becoming more saturated and vibrant with each passing minute. A vendor specializing in silk scarves begins to pack away her most delicate items, but she does so with the same unhurried grace that characterizes all movement in this rain-touched space. Each scarf is folded carefully and placed in protective wrapping, but her actions seem motivated by reverence rather than mere practicality. She handles each piece of fabric as if it were a prayer flag carrying wishes for peace and beauty into the world. Your sense of time has become so fluid that minutes and hours have lost all meaning. The rain has created a temporal sanctuary where the only clock is the rhythm of water meeting various surfaces throughout the market. This freedom from chronological pressure feels profoundly liberating, as if you've been granted permission to exist purely in the present moment without any concern for past or future. The musician with the wooden flute returns, taking shelter under a nearby awning before beginning to play again. His melodies seem to have evolved during his absence, becoming even more integrated with the natural rhythms of the rainfall. The notes he produces seem to emerge from the rain itself, as if he's not creating music, but rather translating the evening's lick-a-languaged symphony into a that human ears can more easily understand. Steam rises from a tea vendor's cart, where he's preparing fresh cups for anyone seeking warmth and comfort from the rain. The vapor from his brewing creates small clouds that drift between the market stalls like benevolent spirits, carrying with them the fragrances of jasmine, oolong, and something that might be chrysanthemum. These aromatic messengers add another layer to the evening's complex perfume, enhancing the already rich mixture of rain, incense, flowers, and cooking spices. A young woman walks slowly through the market, carrying a large lotus leaf over her head as an improvised umbrella. The leaf's natural curves channel the rainwater into graceful streams that fall around her like a living fountain. She moves with the fluid grace of someone who has learned to dance with the weather rather than struggle against it, her footsteps finding rhythm with the rain's percussion as she makes her way between the stalls. Your companion beside you opens her journal again, but this time she doesn't write. Instead, she simply holds the blank page up to catch a few raindrops, watching as they create small circles of moisture on the paper. When she lowers the journal, these watermarks have created abstract patterns that look like tiny flowers or stars scattered across the page. She smiles at this natural artwork before closing the journal again, as if satisfied that the rain has written something more beautiful than words could express. The cobblestones beneath your feet have developed a mirror-like quality, where the flowing rainwater has pooled in small depressions. These temporary mirrors reflect fragments of the swaying lanterns above, creating pools of liquid color that seem to hold pieces of the sky within the earth itself. The sight suggests a world where boundaries between above and below, heaven and earth, have become beautifully blurred. A small bird lands on the edge of a nearby awning and begins to sing, its voice barely soft audible above the gentle percussion of the rainfall. The song is simple and repetitive, like a lullaby designed specifically for this rain-blessed evening. Other birds scattered throughout the market respond with their own quiet calls, creating a chorus that weaves seamlessly into the overall symphony of natural and human sounds. The rain continues to transform every surface it touches, but now you notice that it's also changing the quality of sound throughout the market. Conversations become softer and more intimate. Footsteps are muffled by wet cobblestones, and even the crackling of small fires in food stalls seems gentled by the moisture in the air. The entire acoustic environment has been made more soothing by the rain's influence. Your breathing has reached such a state of slow, deep rhythm that each cycle seems to last for entire seasons. You inhale spring, drawing in the fresh, clean scent of rain-washed air mixed with blooming flowers. You exhale winter, releasing all tension and allowing your body to settle even more deeply into the perfect temperature balance created by internal warmth and external coolness. A vendor begins to light small oil lamps in addition to his paper lanterns, and their steady flames create a different quality of illumination that doesn't dance with the breeze. These stable points of light provide visual anchors in the gently moving sea of swaying lanterns, creating a perfect balance between constancy and change that mirrors the rain's own steady rhythm, punctuated by subtle variations in intensity. The woman beside you stands and walks to where a small waterfall has formed at the edge of an awning, extending her cupped hands to collect some of the flowing rainwater. When she returns, she offers you a drink from her palms, and the water tastes impossibly clean and fresh, as if it has been purified not just by its journey through the clouds, but by its passage through this sacred space of the market itself. A group of children discovers a spot where rainwater has collected in a decorative basin carved with intricate patterns. They float small origami boats in this temporary pond, their paper creations carrying tiny wishes written in characters you cannot read but somehow understand. The boats move slowly in gentle circles, like prayers being offered to the evening sky through the medium of flowing water. The lanterns overhead seem to pulse gently now with their warm light, though whether this is due to some actual change or simply your increasing sensitivity to their beauty remains unclear. Each colored globe appears to breathe with its own rhythm, expanding and contracting slightly as if responding to the same peaceful energy that has settled over your own body and mind. Your sense of physical boundaries has become increasingly fluid, as if the rain has softened not just the surfaces around you, but the edges of your own being. You feel connected to the bench beneath you, the shawl around your shoulders, the warm air exhaled by your companion, and the cool droplets that occasionally find their way past the protective awning to touch your skin with gentle blessing. A vendor walks slowly through the covered areas, carrying a wooden staff topped with small bells that chime softly with each step. The sound is barely audible above the rain, but it adds another delicate voice to the evening's growing symphony. His presence seems less commercial than ceremonial, as if he's performing some ancient ritual of blessing that ensures the market's continued harmony with the natural rhythms of weather and season. Steam continues to rise from various warm surfaces throughout the market, but now these columns of vapor seem to be forming more complex patterns as they ascend. Some twist into spirals, others spread into broad sheets, and a few create formations that look remarkably like flowers or birds, before dissolving back into the rain-saturated air. Watching these ephemeral sculptures feels like observing thoughts taking shape in a perfectly peaceful mind. The rain has created its own lighting effects throughout the market, with droplets clinging to lantern surfaces, creating tiny prisms that scatter colored light in all directions. Each suspended droplet becomes a miniature lens, focusing and redirecting the warm glow into patterns that shift constantly as more water accumulates or existing drops finally surrender to gravity and fall away. A cat settles down in a dry spot near your feet, its fur slightly damp, but its demeanor completely relaxed. The animal begins to purr softly, the sound barely audible, but somehow perfectly audible to your increasingly sensitive awareness. This gentle rumbling adds a note of contentment to the evening's acoustic tapestry, like a bass line that anchors all the higher frequencies of rain, wind chimes, and distant conversation. Your companion beside you closes her eyes and tilts her face toward the rain that occasionally drifts past the edge of your shelter. A few droplets land on her cheeks, and she doesn't wipe them away immediately, instead allowing them to trace slow paths down her skin before eventually absorbing into the fabric of her clothing. Her expression remains serene throughout this gentle baptism, as if she's receiving some form of natural blessing. The musicians in the central pavilion begin what sounds like their final piece of the evening, a melody so perfectly integrated with the rhythm of the rainfall that it's difficult to tell where the music ends and the natural percussion begins. The notes seem to arise from the rain itself, as if the weather has learned to sing and is offering this gift to everyone within the market's protective embrace. A small fountain near the center of the market begins to overflow. Rainwater fills its basin beyond capacity. The excess water flows out in small streams that join the network of temporary rivers flowing between the cobblestones. This addition to the market's water system creates new patterns of flow and reflection, adding more liquid mirrors that double the beauty of the lanterns swaying overhead. Your body has achieved such complete relaxation that you feel like you're floating just slightly above the bench, supported by the warm air and gentle energy that surrounds you. Every muscle has found its perfect resting position. Every joint has settled into ideal alignment, and your breathing has become so effortless that it feels like the air is breathing you rather than the other way around. The rain shows no signs of stopping, but this has ceased to matter in any practical sense. The steady precipitation has become the defining characteristic of this perfect evening, the element that has transformed an already beautiful market into something truly transcendent. You find yourself hoping it will continue indefinitely, maintaining this cocoon of peace and beauty that has enveloped everyone present. A vendor begins to close her flower stall, but she does so with such care and reverence that the process becomes a kind of ceremony. Each bloom is checked for rain damage, adjusted for optimal beauty, and covered with protective cloths that themselves are works of art. Her movements are those of someone who understands that she's not just selling flowers, but maintaining a shrine beauty. To natural, the lanterns continue their eternal dance in the rain-scented breeze, their movement creating constantly shifting patterns of light and shadow that play across every wet surface in the market. These visual rhythms seem to correspond with your own increasingly slow heartbeat, as if the lights themselves are responding to your deepening peace by becoming more hypnotic and soothing with each gentle rotation. Steam rises from a noodle vendor's cart, where hot broth sends clouds of aromatic vapor into the rain-cooled air. The contrast between hot and cold creates small systems in weather miniature, with tiny clouds forming and dissipating just above the serving counter. These ephemeral formations catch fragments of lantern light and seem to glow from within before dissolving back into the evening's gentle mist. Your mind has reached a state of such profound stillness that thoughts arise and dissolve, like the steam rising from the food stalls around you. Ideas form briefly in your consciousness before dissipating peacefully back into the overall atmosphere of tranquility. This mental quietude feels incredibly healing, as if your brain is finally receiving the deep rest it needs to restore itself completely. A gentle breeze moves through the market, carrying new combinations of scents from different stalls and hidden gardens. Night blooming jasmine mingles with the smoke from small cooking fires. Rain-washed stone blends with the fragrance of wet wood. And somewhere in this aromatic symphony, detect you the subtle perfume of lotus blossoms opening in response to the evening's moisture. The woman beside you opens her wooden box again and removes what appears to be a small piece of crystallized flower petal. She places it on her tongue and closes her eyes, savoring what must be an intensely concentrated flavor of spring gardens and morning dew. When she offers you a similar piece, the taste explodes across your palate like sunshine distilled into edible form, creating a warmth that spreads throughout your entire body. A small group of vendors begins to gather under a large pavilion, not to conduct business, but simply to share the experience of this extraordinary evening. They sit quietly together, occasionally commenting softly on the beauty of the rain or the way it has transformed their familiar market into something magical. Their presence adds to the sense of community that has developed among everyone taking shelter from the gentle precipitation. The rain creates its own percussion section on the various materials throughout the market. But now you notice that these sounds seem to be following increasingly complex rhythmic patterns. Canvas awnings provide steady drum beats, metal wind chimes contribute melodic percussion, ceramic surfaces add bright accents, and wooden structures supply deep, resonant bass notes that seem to emanate from the earth itself. Your breathing has synchronized so completely with the rhythm of the rainfall that you feel like you're participating in the same natural process that's creating all this beauty around you. Each breath connects you more deeply to the peaceful energy of the market, as if you're gradually becoming part of the scene rather than simply observing it from outside. Steam continues to rise from various warm surfaces throughout the market, creating ghostly columns that twist and spiral upward into the rain-filled darkness above. These vaporous sculptures appear and disappear like thoughts in a perfectly calm mind, present for a moment, and then dissolved back into the atmosphere from which they came. Watching them feels like observing the visible dreams of the market itself. The lanterns overhead seem to glow more warmly now, their light appearing to pulse gently in rhythm with your own increasingly slow heartbeat. Each colored globe becomes a small sun casting its own circle of golden warmth into the cool, rain-freshened air. Together, they create a constellation of earthbound stars that makes the entire market feel like a place where heaven and earth meet in perfect harmony. Your sense of time has become completely elastic, with moments stretching into what feels like hours of perfect contentment. The rain has created a temporal sanctuary where chronological time loses all relevance, and the only rhythm that matters is the natural percussion of water meeting various surfaces throughout this enchanted space. This freedom from time consciousness feels profoundly liberating. A cat emerges from under a nearby stall and begins to groom itself methodically in a dry spot created by overlapping awnings. Its careful attention to each paw and whisker seems to match the patient, unhurried pace that has settled over everything in the market since the rain began. The animal's presence adds to the sense that this is a place where all living things can find peace and sanctuary. The rain begins to create small whirlpools in some of the larger puddles as competing streams of water flow together from different directions. These tiny vortexes catch fragments of lantern light and spin them into liquid spirals of color that hypnotize the eye and calm the mind. Watching these natural mandals form and dissolve feels like a form of meditation designed specifically for this rain-blessed evening. Your companion beside you opens her journal one final time, but instead of writing, she tears out a blank page and folds it into the shape of a small boat. She walks to the edge of the covered area and places her paper creation in one of the streams flowing between the cobblestones. Together, you watch as it's carried slowly away into the gentle maze of the market, bearing with it whatever wishes or prayers she may have folded into its simple form. The rain continues its gentle conversation with every surface around you, each droplet adding its voice to an increasingly complex symphony that seems designed specifically to guide you toward the deepest possible rest. Your body has settled so completely into the wooden bench that you feel like you've become a permanent part of this peaceful scene, rooted in place by the profound relaxation that flows through every muscle and joint. A vendor across the market begins to prepare warm milk tea in a large copper pot, and the steam that rises from the heating liquid creates spiraling columns that dance between the hanging lanterns. The aromatic vapor carries hints of cardamom and cinnamon that blend seamlessly with the fresh scent of rainfall, creating an olfactory experience that seems to wrap around you like an invisible blanket of comfort and warmth. Your breathing has become so synchronized with the rain's rhythm that each inhale seems to last for entire minutes, drawing in not just air, but the complete essence of this magical evening. Each exhale releases layers of tension you didn't even realize you were carrying, allowing your consciousness to drift deeper into the peaceful current that flows through this lantern-lit sanctuary. The woman beside you reaches into her bag and withdraws a small silk pouch filled with what appears to be dried flower petals. She opens it carefully, and the delicate fragrance that escapes mingles with the rain-scented air to create an even more complex aromatic tapestry. Rose petals, lavender, and something that might be dried jasmine create a perfume that seems designed specifically to encourage the deepest possible relaxation. A small bird lands on the edge of the awning above you and begins to sing softly, its voice barely audible above the gentle percussion of raindrops, but somehow perfectly clear to your increasingly sensitive awareness. The melody is simple and repetitive, like a lullaby composed specifically for this rain-blessed evening, and other birds scattered throughout the market respond with their own quiet calls. Steam continues to rise from various warm surfaces throughout the market, but now these columns of vapor seem to be creating their own weather patterns in miniature. Small clouds form where the steam meets the cooler, rain-filled air, and occasionally these tiny formations produce their own microscopic precipitation, creating rain within rain, weather within weather, like nested dreams within the larger dream of this peaceful evening. The lanterns overhead continue their eternal dance, but their movement has become even more hypnotic as your relaxation deepens. Each gentle rotation creates flowing patterns of colored light that seem to move in perfect harmony with your increasingly slow heartbeat. Red light flows into orange, orange melts into yellow, yellow dissolves into green, and green transforms into blue in an endless cycle of visual music. Your hands have found a position of such complete rest that they feel like they've merged with the fabric of the shared shawl draped across your shoulders. The warmth from the wool has spread throughout your entire body, creating a cocoon of comfort that makes you feel simultaneously protected from the external world and deeply connected to the peaceful energy that flows through this enchanted space. A vendor pushes a small cart slowly through the covered areas of the market, offering small cups of warm herbal tea to anyone seeking comfort from the rain. When he reaches your section, he prepares 2 portions of what appears to be chamomile tea infused with honey, the steam rising from the liquid in delicate spirals that mirror the mist created throughout the market by rain meeting warm surfaces. The first sip sends waves of warmth spreading through your chest and down into your arms, creating a sensation of internal sunshine that perfectly complements the external coolness of the rain-freshened air. The honey dissolves slowly on your tongue, releasing sweetness that seems to correspond with the visual sweetness of the colored lanterns swaying gently overhead. A group of children has discovered a large puddle that formed where several streams of rainwater converge, and they're floating small origami flowers in the temporary pond. Their quiet laughter mingles with the sound of rainfall, but even their joy has been gentled by the rain's influence, becoming soft and contemplative rather than boisterous. They move slowly around the edges of their improvised lake, like young priests performing some ancient ceremony of beauty. The rain has transformed the cobblestone pathways into a network of flowing mirrors that reflect the lantern light in constantly shifting patterns. These liquid ribbons of color create the illusion that you're walking through streams of captured starlight, with red currents flowing alongside blue ones, yellow merging with green, and purple appearing where different colored reflections meet and blend. Your sense of physical boundaries has become so fluid that you're no longer entirely certain where your body ends and the surrounding environment begins. The bench beneath you feels like an extension of your own being. The shawl around your shoulders seems to have grown from your own skin, and even the cool droplets that occasionally touch your face feel like they're arising from within rather than falling from above. A musician appears under a nearby pavilion and begins to play what sounds like a wooden flute, but his melodies are so perfectly integrated with the natural rhythm of the rainfall that it becomes impossible to distinguish between human artistry and natural percussion. The notes seem to emerge from the rain itself, as if the weather has learned to sing and is offering this gift to everyone sheltered within the market's protective embrace. Steam rises from a dumpling vendor's cart, where bamboo steamers release clouds of aromatic vapor into the rain-cooled air. The contrast between hot and cold creates fascinating atmospheric effects, with tiny weather systems forming and dissipating just above the cooking. These ephemeral formations catch fragment surfaces of lantern light and seem to glow from within before dissolving back into the evening's gentle mist. Your companion beside you closes her eyes and extends her hand beyond the edge of your shelter, allowing raindrops to collect in her palm. When she brings her cupped hand back, the water she's gathered seems to hold fragments of the colored lantern light within its clear surface. She studies this liquid prism for a long moment before slowly allowing the water to trickle back down to join the streams flowing between the cobblestones. The rain continues to create its complex symphony on different materials throughout the market. But now you notice that these sounds have begun to follow increasingly sophisticated rhythmic patterns. Canvas awnings provide steady bass rhythms. Metal wind chimes contribute melodic middle voices. Ceramic surfaces add bright treble accents, and wooden structures supply resonant undertones that seem to emerge from the earth itself. A small cat picks its way carefully between the puddles, its movements so graceful and deliberate that it seems to be performing a slow dance choreographed specifically for this rain-blessed evening. When it reaches your area, it settles down in a dry spot near your feet and begins to purr softly, the gentle rumbling adding another voice to the evening's growing chorus of contentment. The lanterns above seem to be communicating with each other through their gentle swaying, creating waves of movement that ripple through the entire network of hanging lights. When one lantern begins to turn in the breeze, its motion influences its neighbors, which in turn affect their neighbors, until the entire canopy of colored lights is moving in slow, hypnotic patterns that mirror the flowing rhythms of the rain. Your breathing has reached such a state of slow, deep rhythm that each cycle seems to encompass entire seasons. You inhale spring, drawing in the fresh scent of rain-washed flowers and new growth. You exhale summer, releasing warmth and golden light. You inhale autumn, gathering the rich fragrances of spices and incense. You exhale winter, letting go of all tension and allowing your body to settle into perfect stillness. A vendor begins to light small candles inside glass lanterns scattered throughout her stall, adding their steady flames to the dancing paper lanterns overhead. These flame-lit lights create a different quality of illumination that doesn't move with the breeze, providing stable points of reference in the gently shifting sea of swaying colors. The combination of moving and stationary lights creates a perfect balance between change and constancy. Steam continues to rise from various points throughout the market, but now these columns of vapor seem to be forming increasingly complex patterns as they ascend into the rain-filled darkness. Some twist into elaborate spirals, others spread into broad sheets that catch and scatter the lantern light, and a few create formations that look remarkably like flowers or birds before dissolving back into the atmospheric moisture. The woman beside you opens her silk pouch again and removes a single dried rose petal, placing it on her tongue where it dissolves slowly, releasing concentrated flavors of summer gardens and morning dew. The process seems almost ceremonial, like a communion with the natural world that extends beyond the immediate experience of this rain-blessed evening into connection with all seasons and all weather. A group of elderly vendors has gathered under a large pavilion nearby, not to conduct business, but simply to share the extraordinary experience of this transformed evening. They sit quietly together, occasionally commenting softly on the beauty of the rain or the way it has changed their familiar market into something transcendent. Their voices blend with the gentle percussion of rainfall, creating a murmur of human contentment that adds depth to the evening's acoustic tapestry. The rain creates small whirlpools in some of the larger puddles as competing streams flow together from different directions, and these tiny vortexes catch fragments of lantern light and spin them into liquid spirals of color. Watching these natural mandalas form and dissolve, feels like observing meditation, made visible, each swirling pattern appearing just long enough to impress its beauty on your consciousness before transforming into something new. Your mind has achieved such profound stillness that thoughts seem to arise and dissolve, like the steam rising from the food stalls around you. Ideas form briefly in your consciousness before dissipating peacefully back into the overall atmosphere of tranquility, leaving behind only the pure awareness that observes without grasping, experiences without analyzing, and rests without effort. A gentle breeze moves through the market, carrying new combinations of scents that seem designed specifically to deepen your relaxation. Night-blooming jasmine mingles with the smoke from small cooking fires. Rain-washed stone blends with the fragrance of wet wood. And somewhere in this aromatic symphony, you detect the subtle perfume of lotus blossoms opening in response to the evening's gentle moisture. The lanterns overhead seem to pulse now with their warm light, expanding and contracting slightly, as if breathing in rhythm with your own increasingly slow respiration. Each colored globe appears to be alive, responding to the same peaceful energy that has settled over your body and mind. Red lanterns breathe warmth, blue ones exhale coolness, yellow ones radiate joy, and green ones emit the essence of growing things. A small fountain in the center of the market begins to overflow as rainwater fills its carved basin beyond capacity. In excess, the water flows out in graceful streams that join the network of temporary rivers flowing between the cobblestones. This to addition, the market's water system creates new patterns of flow and reflection, adding more liquid mirrors that double and triple the beauty of the swaying lanterns overhead. Your sense of time has become completely elastic, with moments stretching into what feels like hours of perfect contentment, while simultaneously seeming to pass in the blink of an eye. The rain has created a temporal sanctuary where chronological time loses all meaning, and the only rhythm that matters is the natural percussion of water meeting various surfaces throughout this enchanted space. Steam rises from a tea vendor's elaborate brass samovar, creating clouds of aromatic vapor that carry hints of bergamot and rose petals into the rain-cooled air. The steam mingles with the falling raindrops, creating small weather systems that drift between the market stalls like benevolent spirits, carrying messages of comfort and peace to everyone gathered under the protective canopies. A young woman walks slowly through the market, carrying a paper parasol decorated with painted butterflies, and the delicate artwork seems to come alive as the umbrella turns slowly in her hand. The painted creatures appear to flutter their wings as shadows and light play across the parasol's surface, creating the illusion that she's sheltered under a cloud of living butterflies rather than mere artistic representations. Your companion beside you reaches into her bag one final time and withdraws a small ceramic whistle shaped like a bird. When she blows gently into it, the sound that emerges is barely louder than the rain itself, a soft note that seems to call to all the real birds scattered throughout the market. Several respond with their own quiet songs, creating a brief chorus that weaves seamlessly into the overall symphony of natural and human sounds. The rain continues to transform every surface it touches, but now you notice that it's also changing the quality of light throughout the market. The moisture in the air creates a slight haze that softens all the edges, making the lantern light appear to glow from within some cosmic fog. colors blend more subtly, shadows become gentler, and even the people moving through the market seem to take on an ethereal quality, like figures in a dream painted with watercolors. A vendor begins to pack away his calligraphy supplies, but he does so with such deliberate care that each movement becomes a form of meditation. He cleans his brushes slowly, caps his ink containers with reverence, and rolls his practice papers as if they contain sacred texts. His actions suggest an understanding that tools used to create beauty deserve the same respect as the beauty they help bring into existence. The lanterns continue their eternal dance in the rain-scented breeze, but their movement has taken on an almost ceremonial quality, as if they're performing some ancient ritual of blessing that ensures the market's continued harmony with the natural rhythms of weather and season. Their colored light flows across every wet surface like liquid prayers, consecrating this space as a sanctuary of peace and renewal. Your breathing has synchronized so completely with the rhythm of the rainfall that you feel like you're participating in the same cosmic process that creates weather, grows flowers, and moves the stars across the sky. Each breath connects you not just to this immediate moment, but to the vast network of natural rhythms that sustain all life, making you feel simultaneously tiny and infinite, individual and universal. A small group of musicians begins to pack away their instruments, but they do so slowly and reluctantly, as if they understand that this magical evening is gradually drawing to its natural close. Their final notes linger in the rain-scented air, blending with the ongoing percussion of rainfall to create music that seems to continue even after the instruments have fallen silent. Steam continues to rise from various warm surfaces throughout the market, creating ghostly columns that serve as visual reminders of the invisible forces at work in this enchanted space. Heat rising to meet coolness, moisture transforming into vapor, energy changing form without changing essence, all of it happening in perfect harmony with the rain's gentle blessing and the lantern's warm benediction. The woman beside you stands slowly and walks to the edge of your shelter, where she opens her arms wide and tilts her face toward the falling rain. A few droplets land on her cheeks and forehead, and she doesn't wipe them away, but instead allows them to trace slow paths down her skin like tears of joy. Her peaceful surrender to the rain's gentle touch encourages you to relax even more deeply into this perfect moment of tranquility. A cat emerges from underneath a nearby stall and stretches luxuriously before settling down to observe the rain from its dry vantage point. The animal's complete contentment with simply watching the water fall seems to embody the same peaceful acceptance that has settled over everyone in the market. There's no urgency to go anywhere or do anything, only the simple pleasure of witnessing beauty unfold in real time. The rain shows no signs of stopping, maintaining its steady, gentle presence over the market like a protective blessing that has transformed an already beautiful place into something truly transcendent. This consistency has become deeply comforting, providing the kind of reliable, soothing stimulation that allows your nervous system to settle into its deepest possible state of rest and restoration. Your body has achieved such complete relaxation that you feel like you're floating in a warm sea of contentment, supported by invisible currents of peace that flow through this rain-blessed space. Every muscle has found its perfect resting position. Every joint has settled into ideal alignment, and your breathing has become so effortless that it feels like the universe itself is breathing through you. The lanterns overhead seem to glow more intensely now, their light appearing to pulse in rhythm with your own increasingly slow heartbeat. Each colored glow becomes a small sun casting its own circle of warmth into the cool, rain-freshened air, and together they create a constellation of earthbound stars that makes the entire market feel like a place where the boundary between heaven and earth has dissolved completely. Steam rises from a vendor's pot where she's preparing something that smells of ginger and star anise, and the aromatic clouds drift between the hanging lanterns like incense offered to the evening sky. The fragrance mingles with the clean scent of rainfall and the subtle perfumes of night-blooming flowers, creating an olfactory experience that seems designed specifically to induce the deepest possible sense of peace and well-being. Your mind has reached a state of such profound stillness that the boundary between sleeping and waking has become meaningless. Thoughts arise like gentle bubbles in still water, surface briefly in your awareness, and then dissolve back into the peaceful depths of consciousness without leaving any trace of disturbance. This mental quietude feels incredibly healing, as if your brain is finally receiving the profound rest it needs to restore itself completely. A gentle breeze moves through the market one final time, carrying with it all the mingled fragrances of this extraordinary evening: rain-washed stone, blooming flowers, warm spices, and the indefinable scent of peace itself. As this aromatic blessing passes over you, your eyes grow heavy and your breathing deepens even further, preparing your body and mind for the transition from this waking dream into the even deeper dream of sleep. The rain continues its gentle lullaby on all the surfaces around you, each droplet adding its voice to a symphony that seems designed specifically to carry you across the threshold between consciousness and rest. Your last clear thought dissolves like steam rising into the night air, leaving behind only the profound peace that flows through this lantern-lit sanctuary where time has stopped and beauty reigns eternal. As the gentle rain continues its eternal song and the lanterns sway in their timeless dance, allow yourself to drift deeper into this perfect moment of tranquility. Your breathing has synchronized completely with the rhythm of the falling droplets, each exhale releasing you further into the peaceful depths of rest. The warm glow of the market's lights grows softer now, like distant stars guiding you toward the shores of sleep. Feel how your body has become one with this enchanted evening, rooted in the bench beneath you, while your consciousness floats freely among the colored lanterns and rising steam. The rain's gentle percussion on canvas and wood has become your lullaby, and the fragrant mist carries away any remaining thoughts or concerns, leaving only pure, undisturbed peace. Let the magic of this rain-blessed market accompany you now, as you transition from this waking dream into the deeper dreams of sleep. Your subconscious will continue to hold these images of beauty and tranquility, these sounds of gentle rainfall and distant music, these sensations of warmth and safety. They will remain with you throughout the night, ensuring that your sleep is as peaceful and restorative as this perfect evening at the Lantern Market. Sleep now, and may your dreams be filled with colored light, dancing on wet cobblestones, with the soft patter of rain on silk awnings, and with the profound peace that comes from knowing you are exactly where you belong. Rest deeply and wake tomorrow feeling renewed by the gentle blessing of this rain-soaked sanctuary of light and wonder.